During my last visit to Israel in March, I saw for myself the work of Hamas in the town of Sderot, just across the border, as you know, from Gaza. I saw the houses that have been hit by Hamas rockets. In the face of injuries, death, and destruction, thousands of Israelis have had to flee. Many others have stayed to carry on as best they can. I visited the home of a man named Pinhas Amar, who lives with his disabled wife, Eliza, and their children. One day last year, the siren sounded again to alert the town to incoming rocket fire. The rest of the family found cover. Eliza, on the other side of the house, was knocked out of her wheelchair and struck by shrapnel. This occurred on December 17th, and from that day until the day of my visit, just some 3 months later, more than 1,000 rockets had struck Sderot. Today, siren warnings are commonplace. The elementary schools are surrounded by concrete shelters, and children walking the streets in costume for Purim celebrations did so in fear. No nation in the world would allow its population to be attacked so incessantly, to be killed and intimidated so mercilessly without responding. And the nation of Israel is no exception. Prime Minister Omer and Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas are engaged in talks that all of us hope will yield progress toward peace. Yet while we encourage this process, we must also ensure that Israel's people can live in safety until there is a Palestinian leadership willing and able to deliver peace. A peace process that places faith in terrorists can never end in peace. And we do no favors to the Palestinian people by conferring approval upon the terrorist syndicate that has seized power in Gaza. Likewise, Israel's chance for enduring peace with Lebanon depends on Lebanese government that has a monopoly on authority within its country's borders. That means no independent militias, no Hezbollah fighters, no weapons and equipment flowing to Hezbollah. Hezbollah fighters recently took up arms against their fellow Lebanese, starting the worst internal fighting since the Civil War ended in 1990. In the process, they extracted an agreement for a new political arrangement in which Hezbollah and its allies can veto any cabinet decision. As a leader of Hezbollah often reminds us, this group's mission is the defeat of Israel. The international community needs to more fully empower our allies in Lebanon, not only with military aid, but also with the resources to undermine Hezbollah's appeal. Better schools, hospitals, roads, and power generation and the like. We simply cannot afford to cede Lebanon's future to Syria and Iran. And we have an additional task. In the summer of 2006, Hamas and Hezbollah kidnapped 3 young Israelis, Gilad Shalit, Eldad Regev, and Ehud Goldwasser. And they've held them ever since. I met with the families of 2 of these men in December 2006 and heard firsthand about their ordeal. I committed then to bring attention to their situation, to insist that the Geneva Conventions are observed and call for the swift release of these men. These men are being unlawfully held and they must be set free and returned home to Israel. Another matter of great importance to the security of both America and Israel is Iraq. You would never know from listening to those who are still caught up in angry arguments over yesterday's options, but our troops in Iraq have made hard-won progress under General Petraeus' new strategy. And Iraqi political leaders have moved ahead, slowly and insufficiently, but forward nonetheless. Sectarian violence declined dramatically. Sunnis in Anbar province and throughout Iraq are cooperating in the fight against al-Qaeda and Shia extremist militias. No longer control Basra. The Maliki government and its forces are in charge. Al-Qaeda terrorists are on the run, and our troops are going to make sure that they never come back. It's worth recalling that America's progress in Iraq is a direct result of the new strategy that Senator Obama vehemently opposed. It was the strategy he predicted would fail when he voted to cut off funds for our forces in Iraq. He now says he intends to withdraw combat troops from Iraq, 1 to 2 brigades per month, until they're all removed. He will do so regardless of the conditions in Iraq, regardless of the consequences for our national security, regardless of Israel's security, and in disregard of the best advice of our commanders on the ground. This course would surely result in a catastrophe. If our troops are ordered to make a forced retreat, we risk all-out civil war, genocide, and a failed state in the heart of the Middle East. Al-Qaeda terrorists would rejoice in the defeat of the United States. Allowing a potential terrorist sanctuary would profoundly affect the security of the United States, Israel, and our other friends, and would invite further intervention from Iraq's neighbors, including a very much emboldened Iran. We must not let this happen. We must not leave the region to suffer chaos, terrorist violence, and a wider war. My friends, as the people of Israel know better than most, the safety of free people can never be taken for granted. And in a world full of dangers, Israel and the United States must always stand together. The state of Israel stands as a singular achievement in many ways, and not the least is its achievement as the great democracy of the Middle East. If there are ties between America and Israel that critics of our alliance have never understood, perhaps that's because they do not fully understand the love of liberty and the pursuit of justice. But they should know those ties cannot be broken. We were brought together by shared ideals and by shared adversity. We have been comrades in struggle and trusted partners in the quest for peace. We are the most natural of allies, and like Israel itself, that alliance is forever. Thank you.